the new executive director for East African Business Council, based in Arusha, but currently I'm in Uganda. We proceed, Rino.
Good afternoon, members. I'm Leno Krialichila, and I'm the Secretary General for Uganda Clearing Industry and Forwarding Association. And I also chair the Uganda National Monitoring Committee on Non-Tariff Barriers. And at the same time, I co-chair the Uganda National Committee on Trade Facilitation. And I'm the Uganda Warehouse Receipt System Authority, among others. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rino. Thanks for that. And really, you hold a very important position in the organization. And thanks for sparing your busy schedule to join us. Colleagues, we proceed. The members first. The members of EABC who have joined. I can't see all their names. Kindly introduce yourself.
Actually, I see some people are dropping off, so perhaps let's call names one by one so that we go through this.
Oh.
We have Audrey.
Yeah, Emmanuel, please. The people are dropping off. They need to. Those who are on the call, there might be an issue of the link.
CEO, I think it's going to be, let's call them one by one. Audrey, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm called Audrey Nishimwe. I'm National Liaison Officer of EABC in Rwanda. Thank you.
Yeah, Chair, I have also an executive member here. Let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Simon Kaheru, Chairman. How are you, sir? Stuart Mwesugwa here, your board member. I happen to be around Hotel Africana and took advantage of sharing a meal as a welcome to Uganda with the incoming executive director. Keep safe, all of you who are on the platform, and wishing you the best of all the deliberations. And I'm expecting so much from Mr. Kalisa, who has joined, I think, a vibrant East African community business entity. Thank you. Welcome, Kalisa.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Chair. I think yeah, it's a privilege indeed to meet executive member here. And joining me for Stuart, joining me for the lunch meeting. So I think we could proceed.
Okay, Brian, I see there's a Brian. Brian Kaleche. Lino, please switch off your video. Brian, if you can't go, then let's have Zephania.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zephania. I'm National Liaison Officer for Tanzania and Burundi. I'm very happy to be part of this meeting, of course, to learn so that we can cooperate together. Asante.
Okay, are we done?
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, CEO.
Yes, Geoffrey.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone here. My name is Geoffrey Kamanzi. I'm the policy manager in charge of trade and services at the EABC Secretariat. And good to be here. Looking forward to the proceedings of the meeting. Thank you.
Very good. Then we have Lamek.
Yes, good afternoon, Chair, CEO, and the rest of the members. I'm Lamek Wesonga, working as the manager for policy and standards at the East African Business Council. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Is that not everybody?
I think Brian has not introduced himself. I don't know if he managed to unmute himself. And also Emmanuel has not introduced himself. Emma, please. Brian, go ahead. Then, I think Emmanuel, please proceed.
Thank you so much, Mr. CEO. I'm Lubega Emmanuel, National Liaison Officer in Uganda and also South Sudan, and also the coordinator for the visit of the CEO in Uganda today. Welcome.
Yeah, everyone has introduced. Hand over to you for an introduction and set of the scene.
Yes, thank you, Bwana CEO. The rules, I think, ground rules for this afternoon's engagement are on the board, though I'm sure we've all been doing online meetings for the last 1.5 years. So many of these rules should be second nature to all of us. I believe I'll make some brief welcome remarks and then hand over to the Secretariat to give us their presentation of the issues that we face as a private sector in Uganda. So once again, I welcome you all and wish you a good afternoon. Thank you very much for making the time today to come and hold this discussion, because as we all know, we have a major role as the private sector in leading EAC integration and building the economy of East Africa as a whole. Ourselves being Uganda, through the activity that we do in Uganda, in this specific country. And I want to welcome in a very special way our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. John Bosco Kalisa. You're very welcome. Karibu Uganda. Tukusanyukide, twakushemererwa. You know, we can say it in so many languages because, you know, Uganda is full of, we have the largest number of languages in East Africa. And congratulations also on being appointed to the position of CEO. You went through a rigorous process, and we thank the board for conducting this process so seriously. Stuart was one of our representatives on the committee. So Stuart, please convey our thanks as Uganda to the entire committee of the board that ran that process. The results, I believe, are already clear in the way Bwana JB has hit the ground running. He is already making a major impact, maintaining the momentum of Dr. Peter Matuki, our brother who elevated the East African Business Council to its rightful place. And JB, I think from Uganda, we can tell you that you now have the responsibility and also the honor of taking the EABC much, much higher than Dr. Matuki did. Luckily, Dr. Matuki is still part of that process, even though he's seated on the other side of the engagement between private and public sector, or in a nice, comfortable middle. But it gives us a great advantage that he has assumed the seat of Secretary General of the EAC because of how much he knows of our private sector interests. And it is good, very, very good that he is still with us in very many ways. Members, speaking of being with us, still with us, on a sad note, there are many people who are not with us anymore, especially those who have departed recently due to COVID-19 and some other causes. And many of these include some of our members here on the East African Business Council in Uganda and leaders within the private sector. I request that we pause a little bit and hold a moment of silence in honor of those recently departed, amongst whom are friends, relatives, and very close colleagues. So I ask you to please bow your heads in prayer for a moment. May their souls rest in eternal peace, and may we continue the work that they contributed to and led so well while they were here. Members, these days nothing goes without mention of COVID-19. It has taken a major toll on many countries around the world, taken lives, as we've just mentioned. But the disease and the management of the disease, the measures that we've taken as different countries have hit us hard. They've taken a major toll on the private sector, on our economies, and on our sustainability into the future. This is yet another major challenge that we face as the private sector. And I believe we must every day agree and work very hard towards taking on this challenge, this task, with focus and determination. At our last Uganda chapter meeting, I raised it at the Private Sector Foundation, with the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, and asked that COVID-19 be addressed with seriousness. I thank Honorable Eli Karhanga, Chair, Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, for taking the reins in this management and establishing a private sector COVID-19 task force, which is under the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, that has very clear, specific, resolute objectives. He asked me to head the technical committee of that task force, which I readily accepted. And today, the private sector is more engaged in frontline efforts to fight COVID-19. Our work as a committee under the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda helped a lot in ensuring that as Uganda entered into the second wave of COVID-19, the restrictions that the government was forced to put in place were not as debilitating as the ones that we faced last year. And it was useful for us to be involved right at the front line, because we ensured that the private sector is recognized not just for contributing money, because we already do so by way of taxes, but by being at the front line of COVID-19 management. We are now engaging with the government in terms of purchasing vaccines, distributing vaccines, conducting tests. Very importantly, risk communication, as my background shows. That is a logo that we've used to run a risk communication campaign, getting our people, our employees, their families, to agree that avoiding COVID-19 is in their hands. It's not the role of government. It's not the role of the organization. It is the role of every individual. And that risk communication campaign showed government that we had a right to continue operating where possible, especially in the essential sectors. It was very, very important because it showed that we are leaders in our own right, even by way of our private sector responsibilities. That leadership, Mona CEO, is going to be well guided, more guided by yourself through the different engagements you hold with all the members in the EAC partner states and with our key stakeholders. That leadership, Mona CEO, I must stress, is going to be seen and felt every day of your time at the EABC, at the helm of the EABC. And this afternoon's engagement is a crucial one in that regard, because you are going to speak to business leaders in the room and communicate to them what you're going to tell the leadership, the political leadership of the EAC. I urge that we all agree that our role here this afternoon is not to simply talk, but to speak as business leaders who are speaking to political leaders, so that we again lead as the private sector, EAC integration, for the benefit of our people. I ask that you're all candid and open as we hold these discussions. Our CEO is already ready to be very open to all suggestions that members put forward. I've interacted with the CEO members, and I can confirm that he has a very impressive plan of action already in formulation. His brilliant career history has enabled him to build up a wealth of experience that will be very useful to us as the EABC, and to all of you in your individual capacities, business or otherwise. So I encourage you to make full use of him as our CEO, starting this afternoon with this engagement. So on that note, I thank you and wish you all good deliberations, and please, let's lead East Africa through the private sector. Thank you very much, Bona CEO. Over to you and members thereafter.
Thank you very much, Simon, the chair of the Ugandan chapter. Maybe before I make my keynote address, I want to invite my friend Stewart, say some few words as someone who sat on the panel recruiting me, and again, a very strong champion of regional integration and private sector. So over to you, Stewart.
Thank you very much. I think we are social distancing enough. Yes. Once again, welcome, Mr. Karisa. You have already been in the region, but specifically now, I had to take time actually, come and physically meet you because I had not all the rigorous transactions we went through in order to recruit you. I had not physically met you, but I can only assure you that your documentation spoke for you. Your experience is already speaking, and your dialogue we had on phone, the phone interviews we had with the other members of the board that interviewed you, we actually think we did the right thing. We chose the right candidate. We strongly believe that you will not let us down. And as well, we believe that you have joined a vibrant team, which actually is very hungry for so many things to happen. One, as EABC, but two, not just the Secretariat, but two, also the community. The community is expanding. Southern Sudan, I think, is almost fully participatory with us. Congo is I heard the president the other day saying that they wanted to join yesterday. So that makes the market bigger. And of course, since some of them have been trading with us not fully, so many NTBs will come up. That means there will be a lot more for us as EABC, for you as the head of the Secretariat, to work together much faster, much smarter. As my chairman Simon said, the step that God gave to us for Dr. Mazuki climbing from being CEO of EABC, it was like an internship for him, actually. He had already experienced the political part of it, but the business part of it, this time he spent with us at the EABC, he got to understand a lot more of where we are strong, where we are weak, and how do we combine this in order to move the East African community to a better business environment so that all the economies of this bloc can actually push forward to ensure that we are getting the continental trade area supporting us in order to do world business at a better style. Welcome and thank you very much. We are here to support you. Feel free. It's not only us coming to you, only for problems we should celebrate where we succeed. But as well, you're very welcome to have it the other way, come to our side so that we can move together. Let me not consume a lot of time on the meeting. Thank you very much. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Stewart, and I want also to thank Simon Kahero, the chair of EABC Uganda chapter. First of all, I want to appreciate you, Chairman, for the warm welcome and the reception accorded to me since I arrived here in Uganda, and also since I joined the EABC. Again, one thing that my brother here, Stuart, is saying, which is one of my core priorities, is to see the integration, the EAC integration, being private sector led. Private sector led meaning that we need have a daunting task ahead of me in terms of improving and growing intra-regional trade. I'm joining at a very difficult time, given the challenges ushered in by COVID-19, but with a strong team, a strong board team, strong members, both corporates and Apex organization, I know I'm going to address some of the challenges, and I'm going to ensure that what I committed to do, I will be able to deliver. So I had an interaction with the chair this morning, and I want to thank him. He gave me a very good and a very good insight on how EABC should be a catalyst for development in the region, how we should play our part. And I think that is the reason why I had to even to come and visit our members. My first assignment is to look at what are the members' interests and needs. That's why I'm undertaking this country visits. From here, I'm planning to visit other countries, but the insight I've got from PSFU, from the chair, from members whom I've visited for a couple of the days I've been here, it demonstrates to me that really we have a very strong private sector that will drive economic growth in our region. So as Chair alluded to, I have a very ambitious agenda with me here. One is institutional strengthening. I need to raise the profile of EABC, picking from where my brother, Dr. Peter Masuki, left it, and he had really played a critical role to ensure that EABC is in the right place and engages the authority in the right way. So institutional strengthening is very critical on my side, where I need to work with my dynamic and well-talented staff with me here. I have a very vibrant and talented staff. I need to continue to work with them who are working on various aspects of our organization, both advocacy, membership, research, as well as communication. So I think that is critical on my side. Another area, as both chair has highlighted, and my brother here, Stuart, is that we need to position ourselves. How do we navigate the issues occasioned by COVID-19 in our region? How do we support the private sector to emerge and engage into their normal business from the effects of COVID? I think on my second item on my agenda is the economic recovery agenda, to work with EAC Secretariat and other actors in trade area in terms of having an inclusive economic recovery agenda for the region. I was looking at the statistics in this morning, generally produced by Deloitte and by the Deloitte, how our economy in the region has slided back. Last year it was 0.9%, but what is interesting now, we are looking at the growth of almost 3%. That's a big jump. So that demonstrates that our private sector in the region is very resilient. What needs is to be provided with the right conducive business environment for it to drive the growth we want in the region. So I'm sure that with commitment, with the level of dynamism demonstrated during COVID, we are in the right place to drive the integration agenda and achieve the growth or EAC we want in 2030. So another area that is critical, where I'm requesting all the actors here, the members, is the area of continental free trade area. How do we position EAC? How do we position EAC? How do we position our private sector in terms of taking advantage of that big market? We're talking about 1.3 billion people. We're talking about the GDP, aggregate GDP of 3.5 trillion US dollars. You are talking, there has been a study done by UNECA. We're talking about welfare gains, about 20 billion US dollars, just for the EAC. So there is enormous opportunities to exploit and take advantage of the CFTA once we work together. I know another priority is the issue of NTBs. I've had a discussion. I've visited some of the companies that are exporting across the region. They have identified and showed me a number of NTBs that impede their trade to benefit from the region. So my task, where I'm seated here with even my brother here, Stuart, is how do I address those cross-border related NTBs? Some are standard in nature, others are administrative in nature, others are policy in nature. But the good news is that with the support from Honorable Peter, we have established a technical working group where we'll be having monthly engagements, monthly meeting. I will be co-chairing that committee with DG, Customs and Trade, so that we are able to resolve, and if we are not able to resolve, we escalate those issues to the Council of Ministers and to the summit. So there is, I would say there is a political will and commitment for us to engage in terms of discussion, how to move the region further. Another area perhaps I need also to highlight is the issue of regional value chain. How do we promote and support the regional value chain? The region is well endowed with a lot of resources, but we have not been able to promote the regional value chain. So I will call upon everyone, all the members, all the development partners to ensure that our regional value chain are promoted, are supported, and those constraints that impede or hinder the value chain are addressed. So basically, that is the focus, and of course, with the engagement I'm undertaking across the region, the visit I'm doing, there's a lot we can do, but those are the key highlights of my my priority area. And again, I'm happy and I want to again thank the team here. I'm also trying to ensure that the country chapter are being strengthened, are being supported, they are being visible, their issues are tabled at the regional level. So, Chair, I hand over to you. I think I've briefly enumerated my priorities. I hand over to you and to listen from other corporates who are here on this call. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, JB. Very, very clear. And it's a good thing this is being recorded, because what you've said has got to be extracted and put down in a communique that we can share with all the members who are not here. So the Secretariat, I'm sure, will do that quite ably. I see we've been joined by a couple more people, so I'll now open the floor. Do we have another presentation? Sorry, before we open the floor. Sylvester, we don't have the PowerPoint presentation?
No.
No, I think, General Chair, there has been a request. I don't know, my colleague Lamek, if he may just briefly, given that he has been the focal point on the NTB and the standards, if we can, the members I met, they said they have raised the number of issues to him. Maybe if we could make a few comments on those issues where they are, then we open up the floor for comments and the other inputs.
Very good. Lamek, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair, for this opportunity. I'll briefly take you through some of the key issues which have come out of the interactions with the members. Some are cross-cutting, some are specific in nature. The first one being the review, the comprehensive review of the common external tariff. Given the developments within the region, the private sector felt it that there was need to review. Sorry, I tried to project, but I think my computer is a bit slow. I would have projected, but I will quickly take you through. So given the developments within the region, especially arising from the manufacturing sector, there was need to review the EAC common external tariff. Apparently, a four-band structure has been agreed upon. However, no consensus has been reached across the board. All the 6 partner states are in agreement with the four-band structure. but what constitutes which kind of tariff, which kind of percentage befalls each category of the tariff specifications has not yet been agreed upon. And as private sector, I think we and as EABC, there's still a role we need to play, especially engaging the policymakers in coming up with the right tariff band, the fourth band. The other key issue was, yes, like you said, the non-tariff barriers. The first one being the denials of preferential market access to EAC originating products. A number of our members have tried to export, for example, steel materials from Uganda to Burundi, from Kenya to Uganda, and they have been denied entry. The reason not so clear, but specifically when it comes to steel, I think there were issues around the rules of origin on the mild steel plates. This is something we are working on, and we hope that this will be addressed in the next regional monitoring forum. The other issue was on the cost of air transport within the region. We realized that there are certain rights, there are certain freedoms where the EAC partner states have not liberalized, and this is affecting the cost of the ticket. So our proposal as EABC, and of which we have been working on with the policymakers, is to see an open skies policy within the EAC, giving 50 freedom to the other partner states, such that we have a single airspace within the region. The other issue is on communications. We have seen good results when it comes to the operationalization of the one network area for telecommunications within the EAC region. And our proposal to the policymaker has been that the other partner states, Burundi and Tanzania, should join the network such that the cost of communication within the region is addressed. I think Tanzania is at an advanced stage from the communications we've been receiving from the government, is an advanced stage in joining the network. And this will be very, very key for our private sector, given the number of business people who are trading in Tanzania. The other area is on the harmonization of domestic taxes. EABC is proposing that as a region, we need to ensure that some of the, if we harmonize our domestic taxes, then would be lowering down the cost of doing business. We could begin with some of the easy ones like the excise tax, value added, and then followed by the income tax. We had given this a deadline of 1st July, but this one has not been possible. But yes, with the leadership of our new CEO, I think we will again advance our advocacy to the policymakers. Then when it comes to the trade in animals, live animals and plants, we have at the EAC level an EAC sanitary and phytosanitary protocol. This protocol is in place. However, for it to come into effect, it needs to be ratified by all the EAC partner states. At the moment, 2 partner states have not yet ratified, and that is Tanzania and Burundi. So our advocacy is to ensure that we engage the United Republic of Tanzania to ratify the SPS protocol. the positive out of signing this protocol is that it will pave way for the development for the development of the SPS measures, which are key when we are trading, and two, it will also ensure that even the measures which have been developed, for example, those related to the trade in fish, are actually passed by the relevant councils. Recently, we have seen the issue of maize trade between Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda becoming a hot issue. So this protocol needs to be ratified by all the EAC partner states. When it comes to standards, previously the old law of standards, that is the SQMT Act, which was the Standardization, Quality, Metrology and Testing Act of 2006, was amended to separate metrology from standardization. So there came a new bill called the Standardization, Accreditation and Conformity Assessment Bill of 2017. Apparently, there were contentious issues with this new bill. However, recently the sectoral council agreed on the contentious issues, and now it is now going into legal scrubbing to pave way for its enactment through the process of EALA and so on. So we are pushing this to ensure that the enactment is fast-tracked. The good thing with this new bill is that the process of harmonization of standards at the EAC level is going to be reduced. Previously, there were two hurdles. Actually, this law is eliminating two hurdles of harmonizing standards. One at the sectoral council level, which involves ministers, and two at the council of ministers level. So where we have stopped the harmonization process is at the meeting of the CEOs of the bureaus of standards at the EAC level. We believe that the CEOs of the Bureau of Standards are qualified enough to know that the standard which has been developed to harmonize is good, and the people, the private sector in East Africa can adopt and actually implement it. So technically, the two levels of the harmonization were eliminated. Still, when it comes to standards, there are quite a number of standards which we have received from the members, which we need to harmonize at the regional level. From the EABC side, we have pushed them, standards related to timber, woods, cement, paper, and so on. So we have submitted them to the standards making process at the EAC level, and we are following up closely to ensure that these are harmonized. So when it comes to the continental free trade area, trading commenced on the 1st of January this year. However, as a negotiating forum, the instruments to pave way for the actual trading have not yet been finalized. One lies with the tariff offers which are coming from the state parties in East Africa. We call them partner states. At the continental level, they are called state parties. Not all of them have submitted the tariff offers to the ACFTA Secretariat. Even at the EAC level, we have not yet finalized our tariff offers to the ACFTA. We are currently at about 83.3%. We need to submit at about 90% of our tariff lines in category A, to fulfill what the negotiating forum desires. So as EABC, again, when our new CEO came in, he tasked us to develop a brief to see what are some of the gaps. And through some of the partnerships the CEO has already engaged into, we are proposing to look at what are some of these critical tariff lines which we need to push as a regional agenda. The tariff lines where our members would desire to go and either import raw materials or intermediate products which they can use for the manufacturing processes. So this one we are also taking to ensure that we are also engaging to ensure that once the 4 signatures which are remaining out of the 14 which are needed, our members are able to take advantage of the tripartite market, that is EAC, COMESA, and the SADC. So those are some of the issues which came out clearly. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamek. Thank you very much. I'll request, because I know members were not taking notes, that you share that matrix or that presentation with members by email. It's definitely linked to the one that we had before, but kindly submit it so that even after the meeting, those who are not in the room or not prepared can make a contribution. So,
okay, Chairman.
Very good. Thank you very much. Members, I'm going to ask that you kindly, one by one, maybe show of hands, make contributions. And those who've joined, I saw, yes, Businge Rabogo, you're very welcome. Kindly go next. Show us your video as you speak. We've agreed only those speaking should be on video for now.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you so much, Chairman. Rabogo, I work with the Mukwano Group, and welcome our new CEO to East African Business Council. Both of you are new, and our current Uganda chapter chairman, Mr. Simon, is also new to the office. We at Mukwano will give you all the support that our new CEO needs. We've been around for quite some time as Mukwano, and do quite a number of businesses in the region. I've listened into the presentations done and what is being done. The most important thing I think to start with is, yes, NTBs is long disease. It's not going to go today, but communication between we members and EABC. I believe of late, we do not get that much communication to be informed of what is happening. That bit of interaction, maybe it has been disrupted by COVID, but I can say to my side, we no longer see much communication from our secretariat to we members. That one being said, let's say review of the CET. Yes, we've been informed. UMA asked us or PSFU to give us our inputs, but we don't get a feedback on these negotiations. Let's say on review, I've had Lamek talking of 4 bands. Yes, we subscribe to that, but on 4 bands, which tax percentage structures have been agreed, we don't get that feedback in time. And when they want us to contribute, it's either too late or we don't have time because we are really all the time engaged. So we need that communication on anything touching private sector for us to be given a feedback on that. On tariff offers on the African Free Continental Trade Area, is talking of 83% going to 90%. We do not even have the draft as members to know exactly what has been offered and what discussions are going ahead. And then at the end of the day, I know it is going to affect us. The other issue which was touched, and long issue, since CSCs was born in 2010, is harmonization of our taxes. You know, we had an elimination of internal tariffs. That was done away with. But when that was done, we expected we were going to use only the CET. But that one failed. So each country, yes, I agree sometimes because it also supports me, where you have sensitive lists for different countries. I believe if we harmonized all these domestic taxes, especially touching on excise duty, it would give us a better standing and planning ahead. I'll give you an example. This year's budget, if you look at it, each country has issued its own budget, its own rates on particular items that even appear in the CET. So it's like we're trying to put the CET tariff book aside. At the end of the day, if we continue increasing these numbers, the tariff book and the CET will be useless to us. So I really will say the CEO and the team, minded that private sector, we are all business people, and taxes and NTBs really touch our businesses. Those areas must make sure that they're streamlined. Thank you so much for visiting Uganda. Once again, I welcome you to Uganda. Thank you, Chairman, for giving me that time.
Asante sana. Thank you very much for being candid as we agreed. You know, as business people, we are diplomatic in a different way. So that's exactly how we should put forward our interests and demands. So CEO, I think you have a few challenges to pick up there. Let's see, who else do we have? Brian Kaleche, you've not been able to come forward yet. I see Mr. Karmali's account. AM Karmali?
Chairman, that is Junior.
Ah, okay. So you've represented everybody whose account says Karmali here.
Junior is attending as a guest. He's with us. He's on holiday. So I told him to join in and listen to what is going on.
Thank you very much. That is good mentorship. I hope everybody else is taking note of that. That's how we should do it. So who else do we have? Audrey, can I invite you to also make a contribution? Audrey? Okay, Lino, you're next. Lino Ichila. Okay, unfortunately, I think some people are not capable of unmuting right now. Brian, might you have anything additional? Perhaps CEO, as we wait for the rest to come on, one, besides the issues that we discussed earlier today, I think we also need to look into, especially in light of COVID-19, what governments are doing, East African governments are doing to protect the business community from the effects of COVID-19. And here, one of the items that I would suggest we propose to our governments is that the private sector, and I said this in the initial comments, the opening remarks, the private sector already contributes money by way of paying taxes. So our next contribution in this battle, in this war, must not be contributing money, pickups and face masks and whatever. It needs to be different. We are trying to keep people in employment. So everything that the governments can do to ensure that we continue operating and therefore employing people would be the most preferred direction for governments to take. And that brings in some of the initiatives that we have seen across East Africa. One that I always mention, for instance, is digital tax stamps. We are being required to pay for the cost of digital tax stamps, which is an administrative cost that governments put in place. Very good to confirm that excise duty has been paid. We welcome that. However, the governments themselves should be the ones to pay that money. If the governments feel the pain of paying that money to a private company in Switzerland, in East Africa, it's one company, a Swiss company that's doing this. If the governments feel that pain, then they will find it in themselves to get the best deal and to get the best supply. Right now, because it's the private sector that is paying that administrative cost, there's no concern being given to what it actually means to our businesses and to our employees. And this is, like I said, across East Africa. So it's something as the East African Business Council we need to look at. And also let's find a solution within this region, because we have looked at the solution that's being used and we see no magic in its application and in its monitoring. Plus, the benefits are not being made clear to business. Instead, we are seeing governments now applying an extension or an expansion of digital tax stamps to products like cement, sugar. Next, we know steel is on the list and others that are to come. So I'll request the Secretary to please look into that as another intervention point. Lino, I see you've returned. Could I ask you to please unmute and go ahead with your contribution?
Thank you very much, Simon. Sorry, my network went off when you called on me. But I just wanted to make a comment on the area of NTBs. What I did not mention in my introduction is that I'm also a member of the Core Committee on Trade and Commerce at PSFU, and I'm also a member of the Regional Monitoring Committees on NTBs for years. Now have is really an issue to trade the region. And much as we have the protocols in place, we have the laws, and much as the members are aware of NTBs and their impact on trade and business, there is a problem of enforcement. And this cuts across the whole, all the regions, the groups. But particularly for the EAC, we did amend the Act and regulations. Now, the part of enforcement is supposed to be with the Trade Remedies Committee. But unfortunately, up to now, the Trade Remedies Committee of the EAC is not in place. So I think this is where we need the CEO to come in and see how this can be pushed first. The EAC Act on NTBs in its place, even the regulations, but now the main thing is enforcement. Because when we have even these regional meetings, we have the program, we set dates, and partner states promise to resolve NTBs, but they keep going on. There's an element of impunity. But once you have the Trade Remedies Committee, because the one which is supposed to do enforcement did, I think it will go a great way to help us. Otherwise, I'm happy we have covered most of the areas of concern. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lino. And you can put your hand down so that I don't keep calling an old hand, even though you are clearly an old hand at this game of business, enterprise, and entrepreneurship. Do we have somebody else? Audrey, are you back? Audrey? Okay, we don't have Audrey, and when I look at the list, I think the other person, Nilax Bat? Nilax Bat, would you like to take this opportunity to say something?
Yes, please.
Welcome.
Sorry, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Apologies for joining late, but I think the discussion was good, and we really appreciate the approach being taken by EABC, and they are really moving fast and in good direction or right direction. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Yeah, Nilax, please introduce yourself so that we can record what organization. We know you, but just for CEO to meet you.
Yes. Okay. Myself is Nilax Bhatt. I am Executive Director of Steel and Tube Industries. Mr. John Bosco Kalisa and Emmanuel both visited us yesterday in our plant, and we had very good and fruitful deliberations, I think, in very pertinent issues. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you very much for hosting our CEO on that plant tour, especially during this difficult COVID-19 time. So much applause, much applause.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Very good.
Thank you.
Can we invite Zephania?
Yeah, sorry, Chair, I don't have anything to say.
Okay, very good. So at this point, members, allow me to highlight two members here, two member organizations here. Roofings, Stuart, please show us your video. I hope you're still near CEO.
Yeah.
CEO, is Stuart still with you?
Yes, yes, he is.
Please put him on video, and Nilax, kindly also show us your video. Nilax, what? Please show us your video as well.
Is it still on?
I see his name there, but the video is not coming through. Yes, very good. Members, I would like us to please applaud these two organizations, because these two are among the leading 11 private sector entities that have provided medical oxygen free of charge to the Ministry of Health to save lives of Ugandans during COVID-19. So we must applaud you. Roofings, I believe you are the first to do this, and you've been doing this for a very long time. When the oxygen issue became a crisis, under the Uganda Manufacturers Association, we approached all the other manufacturers that we felt were in a position to provide this support. And all of them, without exception, readily provided their facilities to save the lives of Ugandans. So we thank you. And once again, this is clear demonstration of the importance of the private sector, even when we come to social services that would otherwise have been provided by the public sector. So thank you, Roofings Group, thank you, Steel and Tube Industries, and all the other private sector providers of medical oxygen. Keep up the good work. And Emmanuel, I'm giving you a story tip there. So make sure that you also run a story that indicates that the East African Business Council has given these heroes and heroines special recognition. And I think, Bwana JB, you can spread this as a benchmark lesson for all the other manufacturers in the rest of the region to pick up. We will make a very big difference in this region if we do these things together over the entire patch. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the compliment.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Chair. I want to add to your voice by thanking the two members here for the excellent delivery of the support to the medical team. And again, we look forward to recognize you and also encourage others to do the same. That also demonstrates the spirit of the partnership, public-private dialogue and partnership, which is now demonstrating that even during a difficult time of health-related issues, private sector can take an important role in addressing some of the health challenges. As you rightly put it, that the work that always is privy to the government. But I'm happy that our members are taking the leading role to avert the catastrophe of COVID. So, Chair, with your permission, I also want to recognize we have the certificate for our key member Wabogo. There is a certificate from Mukwano Industry. I think I want you to hand it over. The certificate is here. I don't know virtually, but it will be delivered to him physically. But the certificate is here to recognize.
Yes, we can do it virtually. Please hold it up. Mr. Rawogo, kindly show us your video as well. Muzingi Rawogo.
Yes.
Very good. And now the task is for the Secretariat to take a good photograph of this evidence that we are doing this.
The new normal.
The new normal,
yes. Are you able to read it, Mr. Wabogo?
Let me see. I can't see you.
Which one? Okay, it's on. The video is on.
Hold it there.
Yes.
I cannot see Mr. Simon Kaheru. I can't see the CEO.
Oh, we are together.
Is your video now? Whom are you seeing? What can you see?
Mr. Simon Kaheru and myself.
But I can see. You can't see.
No.
It is. His video.
Why don't? Is there a way to?
Okay, I can now, when I minimize, I can see you standing with Stuart. And now it has gone off.
Minimize.
When I minimize, I can see it standing with Stuart, CEO. We are really grateful as Mkwano, and we'll make sure always our subscription is paid in time to make sure we support the services for EABC, because we know the advocacy you are doing for us as a company and private sector in Uganda. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and thanks for articulating those issues still impacting the business. And
I can read it well now. I think the IT has improved, yes. EABC certificate, yes. Thank you so much. We'll make sure it's given due diligence and handed over to our managing director.
For sure, it will be delivered. Emma is going to deliver it physically to your office.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
we also we do also have a chair for you with your permission. We do have also the certificate for Century Bottling Company.
Which I have to receive.
Which you have to receive also.
Yes. So if you hold it still, I'll take another photograph.
Yes.
There we go. So I think on behalf of Century Bottling Company and Coca-Cola Beverages Africa, it's always a pleasure for us to be a member of the East African Business Council. It's a benefit for us as an organization, and we feel that it's a responsibility as well. We are happy to receive our certificate, renew our membership, and we pledge our continued involvement in the East African Business Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very good. Do we have another?
I think Emmanuel will be delivering others to their premises.
This is for when? Am I paid, Russians? No. Maybe I've not received the invoice. Send the invoice, please.
Yeah, so Manuel will be delivering them to physically to their premises. And I want to thank you, Chair. You've signed them and they are ready to be dispatched. So I really want to thank you and thank the entire team and the board member who are here, who have been supporting me.
Very good. Thank you, Bona CEO. I believe we have come to the close of this engagement. It's now 5 minutes to 3 o'clock. Perhaps, sorry, Rabogo, is that a fresh hand? Are you putting your hand up?
Yes, there's something I forgot. Now that CEO is here, we'll do some business at the cross-border with Tanzania. And of late, you know, COVID is a big issue. Our drivers are tested in Uganda. And the truck drivers are not treated like passengers. I know passengers at Entebbe Airport, if you're coming from foreign country, irrespective that you have a negative PCR test, you still have to undergo a mandatory test. And if found positive, you are quarantined. But truck drivers, like those coming from Mombasa or elsewhere, once you have a PCR test, it's normally valid for 14 days, they allow them to proceed. Of late Tanzania, once the drivers retested again, this is at the entry point at Mutukula. And they want to charge $25. So the drivers have been tested on Uganda side in Mutukula, given certificates, and they cross into Tanzania. And Tanzania again says, we should test you immediately, and you pay $25. So we believe that's another NTB coming. COVID is here to stay, and we should. I thought we had a harmonized area on truck drivers and border crossing in handling the COVID issues, CEO. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wabogo. Again, you've ably articulated these issues very well. And I want to, again, with the permission from the chair, to thank you very much. And I think with the permission from chair, you should be one of our technical member on the technical committee on NTBs, because what you are saying, it's one of the challenges that not only on this COVID test, but the issue of harmonization of testing, both with related to goods as well as truck drivers, even the passengers at the airport. It's a nightmare, and it is impacting heavily on our sectors, especially tourism, as well as other sectors. So I think my team are on the call, Lamek, Adrian, and Geoffrey. They need to take that up as one of the advocacy agenda and a priority one to ensure that those charges and called for charges are advocated for elimination. I want also to thank the people I met that yesterday, the team, especially the one we visited, that the issue of non-recognition of certificate of origin, I think it has been one of the daunting issues that impede intra-regional trade. So, I understand Kenya EAC certificate of origin is recognized in some partner states, while Uganda one is not recognized. How do we harmonize those certificates of origin? I think that is an issue also we need to take on board. Then the issue of digital, which the chair alluded to, we need to take it up. And the enforcement on NTB, the act is there, 2017 NTB Act. But how do we advocate and even push EAC to establish a trade remedy committee to ensure that those NTBs, there are measures imposed for new NTB that are being elected. So I think it's a homework on my side and with my team. We are going to table that with our counterpart at the EAC and ensure those issues are resolved. Over to you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, CEO. And it is that kind of quick resolution that gives us faith that you're the right man in the driving seat right now. Thank you very much. Members, the minutes from this discussion or the notes, Mr. Rabogo, is your hand up again or is your hand up from the last time?
No, let me put it down, sir.
Okay, thank you. So what we've discussed today is not going to wait another week. This is not government. The team, Lamek, Sylvester, or Emmanuel, you'll please put down these notes so that tonight we receive them. The metrics that Lamek presented will be shared this afternoon or this evening. It's 3 o'clock, so we still have 2 hours of working time. It will be shared with all members. Please do not stop engaging. As the private sector, we don't wait for meetings before we raise issues because profit and revenue also does not wait for meetings. It's supposed to happen every day. We're in a world of commerce. So our CEO is very, very open, very available. His WhatsApp is always ready for response. He's going to share his email address with all of us. At all times, please ensure that you're raising issues directly with him and keep the Secretariat fully in copy so that follow-up is easy, and your board members as well. Stuart Mwesigwa is very responsive, he's available. Jim Mwine Kabeho is still with us, and so is Barbara Mulwana. So I urge all you members not to keep quiet and not to wait for meetings. Mr. Rabogo threw a challenge to the Secretariat about communication, which challenge has been clearly received, and I believe he speaks for all members. So let's ensure that we stay engaged even during the day and during the weeks. So I thank you all for putting aside time for this afternoon's engagement. And I wish you a very safe and progressive future in East Africa, building this community through the private sector and creating integration between our people. Thank you very much. See you in a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah, allow me also move a vote of thanks to you, Chair, and the executive member seated with me. Says thank you, and also to the member of EABC, the member of PSFU. I want really to assure you and commit myself and my team that we are going to work day and night and ensure that these issues are tabled, and we will keep you updated. I take a note of constructive comment raised by Wabogo on communication. It's not only Wabogo, I've heard it from many partners saying we don't get enough visibility as EABC, as the member of EABC. So that is my homework, Chair, and I'm going to work with the team here to ensure that we are visible, we keep you posted, we keep you updated on the information. So I'll look forward again for your continued support where you are seated, Chair, and my friend here, Stuart, that where there are issues, you will help me to take them forward. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very good afternoon.